for me.
Me as
Clear
well.
for me.
Everybody's clear.
Clear for me.
Well, thank you again for joining. And of course, we're have something very special for you today. We've got 1 hour in which we introduce the program very shortly, but most importantly, of course, we'll focus on the people on this couch you see here today, the trainees and alumni from the Engineering Doctorate program at JADS. And JADS, of course, is a collaboration between Eindhoven and Tilburg University in the Netherlands. For today, we've got a short program planned. Shortly, I welcome you, of course. My name is Edwin. I'm one of the employers of JADS, working at the Marketing Communication Department. But later on, you'll also see some more details about me. The second step will be that we'll have a short introduction of the people on this couch who are able to tell their story. They're your peers, of course, and they will tell their story and their experiences. And later on, we'll dive into the questions you've sent already. And we also have some time allotted to set your questions online and get them answered by our trainees and alumnus here. And around 3:30, we'll end this online meeting. Of course, at the end, we'll set up a wrap-up of this meeting. You'll receive a copy of this video. And I will expect that early next week, we will gather all the questions we got today and draw them out in a document like a frequently asked question document. So you do not need to really register everything today by yourselves. We will make sure that everything's recorded and you get a copy of this at the end of the session. And probably that will be next week. If there are questions up front, some of our colleagues are managing the chat already. You can also use that during this meeting. But first of all, let us introduce our guests here today, starting with Saba. And thank you for joining us, of course.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining the world, I guess, online. And as you can see, you got a different specific background with your studies. And currently you are a second-year trainee at our Engineering Doctorate program. Can you shortly tell your story, how you got here and what you're doing right now?
Yes, for sure. So hello everyone, I'm Saba and I'm on second year of EngD, as Edwin also mentioned. So why I'm today here at an EngD basically is coming back to the stories of my PhD when I was a visiting PhD student here at JADS. So I have a background more in business and marketing, but there on my visiting time at JADS, I noticed that I really like to have a deeper knowledge in data science, and that's why, yeah.
And I read that you can't resist a good cup of coffee.
Yes, true.
Okay.
That's beside me. Yeah.
And other people on couch, totally on the other side, it's Francesco.
Hi everyone.
Nice to join. You're one of our first year's trainee.
Yes.
You started in September 24.
Yes, exactly.
And currently living in Den Bosch, of course. But can you tell a little bit more where you're coming from regarding your studies, your country, and maybe what you've learned in the past year that really made an impact for you?
Yeah, definitely. So I come from Italy and I studied mathematical engineering and my master was in data science. And after finishing the master, I noticed that I really still missed something to reach the level that I wanted in data science. And I found out this program through LinkedIn, and I noticed that it was really like perfect for me because I can have here 2 years to dedicate to myself and to my own development. So that's the main reason why I joined. And one of the things that I learned from the beginning here, but also from previous experiences, that it's very good to take your time to think about things and not jump immediately to implement them, or sometimes it's good to have time for planning.
Planning and designing, yes. Cool, thank you. And thank you again for joining. And last but not least, one of our alumni, Bing, welcome back at our campus. And of course, you also had a different background regarding studies. You did information management at Tilburg University, but also did project management in China University. Currently living in Amsterdam. And you graduated from our program in 2020, I guess.
2021.
Okay, cool. Can you tell me a bit more about yourselves and what you're currently doing after your graduation?
Yeah, hi, I'm Bing. I joined the program in 2018. I joined around 4 years of working in T connectivity, and I feel like my skills needs to be up leveled as everyone. I want to develop my career in data science, but I don't know how to do data science. I don't even code at that time. I was good at Excel, and I can yeah, I can do pivot tables, and I feel like maybe I need to learn something on Python because now the Excel cannot fit all the numbers I want to look at. So later on, I joined JADS, and I studied here two years, 2.5 years. And after graduation, I stayed 1 more year at my previous company, and then I got a chance to interview with Meta, and then now I joined Meta for 2.5 years. And yeah, guess what? They're not doing very different things. They're very like the projects I do in JADS is like can be moved to Meta like immediately. Like it's the same kind of way that I work in JADS and in Meta. But yeah, that's why I really like this program.
Oh wow, that's also perfect to hear your experiences regarding Meta and the things you learned at JADS.
Yeah.
It's also one of the questions we received earlier up front, and we'll dive into that later. Next to these people on the couch and myself as hosting this party, we also have 2 colleagues not visible on screen, but also managing the chat. And that are Femke Korst, he's one of our education coordinators at Engineering Doctorate program. And of course, my colleague Julia Simons, working at the Marketing Communication Department. And they will guide us through this hour and the questions we can tackle today. Just a short story about JADS itself. You probably already read a lot of details in our brochure online, or maybe saw the video, but just a short recap. We're a new cooperation between Eindhoven and Tilburg University, and 2 other founders are the province of North Brabant, the municipality of Den Bosch, and we're also located there. We're here on campus with each other in an old convent. I can imagine it feels pretty different when you start here in this kind of setting. It's as if you're going to college with Harry Potter, I guess. I'm not sure, but
it's a very nice campus.
We'll show you also in the recap of this meeting. We'll send you a link that shows a tour around campus that gives you some extra dimension about how it is to be part of this program, but also being part of the data science and artificial intelligence community, because it's big. What we do in roughly at JADS, of course, we've got education, so master, bachelor, but also postmaster education for professionals, but also, of course, our engineering doctorate program. We do research, we're a lot of research here, and of course we have a team of impact in which we cooperate with SME companies, small, medium enterprises, but also large companies, corporates, and NGOs to really connect theory and practice to each other. And I see you all nodding. That's something we really like and really do here at JADS, is combining the technology and combining the theory with practice. Because we would like to solve issues instead of just solving fictive data. We would like to work with real data, and that's what we typically do here day by day. And if you look at the engineering doctorate program itself, if you have like a small recap, we say it's like if you're ready to work but not done learning, engineering doctorate program is something for you. It's a 2-year postmaster program in which we will deepen your knowledge and we give you some practical experience. And of course, you can work on your professional skills. And the fun fact is that you receive a 2-year paid contract. So you get paid to learn instead of the other way around, I guess. Our program itself is very diverse. We got a very international base, as you see on this couch already. We got somebody from Italy, somebody from China, somebody from Iran. And mostly, I can say that we roughly cover all continents in the world, and that's something we're really proud of. And next of the diversity of our program and the participants, we also have a very big diversity of companies we work for, but also work with. Maybe you've read about the Data Challenge Week as part of the application process, but in the 2-year, we also work a lot of projects, and of course the NGEP project, that's something that's very vital in the engineering doctorate program. And we work with companies like the big ones, like ASML, Unilever, and Omron, but also companies like Brabantwater, which is more like a utility company in the Netherlands, but National Police. So also more governmental organizations we work for and tackle and challenge their data problems. Yeah, we got a 2-year program. Yeah, you're thinking, okay, what's Edmund looking at? But I'm looking at the screen, of course, telling what's here. I don't think this is the time to really dive into the program and see what you do in the first year and second year. But if you're interested to see, okay, how's the curriculum broken down, you can check our website to see how the program is built up, what kind of skills you learn. Maybe it's interesting to ask something already. Of course, you're now in your first months, and of course, you can look back. What do you remember from your first year? Is there a specific course that really sparks your memory?
I think the first year, so we had like data visualization, data mining. We have some compulsory courses. We have also some elective ones, which we can basically select if we want to join. Like the statistics or process mining. These are kind of the techniques at which we have. I mean, we had the courses for it, and also besides the training projects, we can imply on that.
Okay, cool. And for you, Bing, if you look back, what kind of courses do you still remember from the first year?
Yeah, we have several case studies. When we start, we talk to the people. We also see the data. By see the data, I mean we visited the oil refinery DAO. Before we look at the data, oh, this is the refinery machine 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we look at the data, oh, this is machine 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like before you look into the data, you have the picture of what you're working on, and talking to the people and making the connections between data and reality. I think that was fantastic.
Cool. And for you, Francesco,
I think
your first month?
Yeah, so far I only had one course. I would say mostly it's not like university courses. So it's not like a lecture in which a professor is teaching you something, but it's very interactive. And often you contribute to the lectures with talking about one topic or explaining something regarding the course that you have worked with in the past. And but in these months, I especially enjoyed the time for the self-development that we got. Because we also have like one coach that follows us for the development of our soft skills, and I think that was really nice to have some sessions to talk with the coach.
And can you elaborate on what kind of questions or tasks you discuss with that coach regarding your personal soft skill development?
Yes, of course. So it's there are multiple workshops, let's say, but and in each workshop we try to face a specific soft skill. So we, for example, deep dive into leadership, which also means personal leadership, for example, communication as well. So we had also some workshops about how to communicate in a clear and concise way, and how to collaborate with others in a team. But also creative thinking. So we analyzed what are the rules of brainstorming, for example. Things like that. It's those sessions are very nice because they allow you to discover more of things that maybe sometimes you give you for granted. Because for people that like me come from a technical background, we often think too much into technical terms.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. Interesting to hear indeed your personal experience regarding the first year. And again, if you'd like to read more about the program in detail and what kind of courses there are in the electives, please check our website, jads.nl/EngD, and just check out the curriculum program. What I would like to do now is to dive into the questions we already got today, because of course this session today is mainly focused on you. You have an interest in this program, but have specific kind of questions. That's why we are so happy we got our trainees, but also alumnus, to discuss about this program and share their experience about the program. And we already received around 30 questions, and we will tackle them first. And later on, there will be some opportunities to also ask your personal questions yourself. Mind you, I would like to make use of the persons that are sitting here, use their experiences about the program. If you have specific questions regarding the process or maybe the qualifications, my advice would be to ask that question in the chat, so we can answer them in our frequently asked question document. In that way, we can use their time maximum and make use of their knowledge and their experience in this setting. If I look at some of the first questions, luckily it's already been answered, so that's easy for you to answer. It's regarding the planning of the application. Can you apply already for the program when you're not graduated yet? Because the thesis maybe is done in June or later in 2025. The answer for this is yes. And keep in mind that you have to successfully conclude your master's program before the start of your traineeship. And the next traineeship will start in September 2025. Maybe let's skip to another question. It's regarding the ELTS mandatory. I think you already experienced it yourself when you apply to the program. We've got a lot of questions from people applying and saying, okay, my current program is in English. Should I provide a letter of proficiency, yes or no? And will it suffice for ELTS? Regarding that question, it depends. You might be exempt for language requirements if you had a full English education in another university or one of our partner universities. So that also is known for maybe when you're coming from Eindhoven University or Tilburg University, you can be exempt for the ELTS qualifications. How was your experience regarding the English? Was it something hard to do, or was it easy for you to experience the first project, but also the Data Challenge Week in English? Can you maybe reflect on that, Ben?
Yeah, when I applied, I had my master in Netherlands already.
Okay.
So when I applied, I didn't submit that, but I also asked the same question for sure. Like, do I need to take the exam again because I'm already in Tilburg University at the time?
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So definitely, if you can succeed in the university, so the English is fine, and most of the time when we talk to our peers, I don't think we are English, not so many English native people. Most of us are just a second language. So yeah, there's no problem in communication.
Yeah. And I can imagine one of the reasons, of course, regarding the English language we desire is, of course, the cooperation we have with companies. Do you feel it helps? Is there like a lot of companies we work with that need English, or are they only speaking Dutch? I hope not, but can you maybe elaborate on that, Saba, for you?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I remember that all the projects that I have, like with IKEA or PLK or lots of different companies that I have. Like I had 6 different projects with 5 different companies, but there was not any problem regarding speaking the Dutch. I mean, so mostly we go and see that there are internally speaking Dutch, but that's not a problem because they will switch it mostly in English. That's the very positive aspect of living in Netherlands. I really like it because people are really speaking very well in English, and that facilitates the collaboration.
Yeah, so being part of the Engineering Doctorate program, in which you work together with a lot of national and international companies from the Netherlands, it's very necessary to also speak English. Otherwise, you got like a language barrier, I guess, to translate the question into a data science solution. So that's the reason why we really like it, that your English is strong, not only for yourself, but also, of course, to work together with different kind of companies. One of the questions was also that is TUE one of the universities that makes you exempt of this, and that's true. When you, of course, have a Dutch university that always taught in English, you do not need to do the ELTS again, and that helps yours. A very open question. If you look back at your own application, one of the participants asked, do you have any recommendations for the application? How do you look back at your application, and can you maybe give some suggestions or things people need to think about when they send in the information? What can they do extra or do for preparing? You had some thought there, Bing, I think, seeing that in your eyes.
Yeah, I think deeply on the motivation letter before I came, and because I really want to join the program at the time, and I even come to the university because I was living close. So I visited the program director at the time, and so I was like I really want to join, and so I think I spent time on my motivation. So I think I don't know whether it's motivation is the most important one that helps you like drive your study, drive in the future. So do you really want to study data science, or do you want to study another profession? And looking back, I feel after that deeply thought, I really feel data scientist is a position fits me, and I enjoy doing it. And I feel like I enjoy the everyday working, so it's not a pain at all. So I mean, that thought really helped. Yeah,
and that really you put that in your motivation letter, and I think personally handing over motivation letter colors the person next to your resume, the study you did, the grades you scored. It gives something about your heart, I think, and motivation. Other things what you can imagine in which you say, okay, that's something you can do for your application, Francesco.
I don't know, I resonate with what Bing said. I also remember I really wanted to join the program, so I put a lot of effort into crafting the motivation letter. And to do that, I simply also looked a lot on the website of JADS to look for information and try to understand what is required. Other than that, of course, your CV should always try to match the type of a program that you're going to do then. But I would say that other than that, I think it's really important for you as well, not only for entering the program, to have a strong motivation. Because if you don't have it, maybe
needs to be at your core, otherwise maybe something else is better for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. One of the other questions we received is regarding visa. A specific question went into the details like, I have a visa already. The Data Challenge Week is planned for this application round in March, April 25. Which deadline is applicable for my application? Is it December 1st or January 1st? That is January 1st, Kai. It's January 1st, 2025. For all people that need a visa, the deadline for application for this round is December 1st, 2024. And a follow-up question regarding visa for maybe your partner or kids. Of course, we're talking about a scenario in which you are selected. If you're selected for this traineeship, you will receive a job offer via Eindhoven University, and they will take care of the visa applications also for your spouse. And for non-EU members, the Eindhoven University can even apply for family reunion on your behalf to enable your partner and children to travel to the Netherlands. How was it for you, actually, the visa? I think was that a part, an issue, or did it went very smoothly? Can you reflect on that, Saba, how it was for you regarding
the land
for the PhD?
Yes. Right. So and also I came with my husband, so he's also a PhD. We bought a PhD student at that moment, and I came with his visa actually, and then I started my visiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy, so more easy, I guess, regarding the entrance to JADS.
So.
And you mentioned, Bing, that you already, of course, studied at a Dutch university, so visa was no issue at all.
Yeah, and I also met my wife here.
Oh, really? Congratulations.
No, he is also happy at her girlfriend.
Yeah.
No. So getting something, but also finding the true love here also.
Yeah,
that's cool. Then a detailed question regarding the background. Do you consider applicants with an MN degree. This question is coming from me. And as we are part of the graduate school of Eindhoven University, we are obliged to only accept applicants with a Master of Science degree. If you have specific details regarding qualification for your background studies, please let that question be answered in the chat, or send us an email that will be shown later on this session. We'll see how it will match to the program details. Okay, I think this is a good question. One of the questions also was what kind of type of organizations JADS uses to do the projects. Is it only profit organizations, also governmental organizations? I think, Francesco, there's no project just yet with the company you're doing.
Yeah, I just started one project. And
Okay, already.
it's actually with the local football club of Bos.
Okay, so FC Den Bosch it is.
Yeah.
And for you, Bing, what type of companies did you work on the project here at JADS?
I worked, I think, Philips, one of Philips, medical, and then we went to Dow for sure, and then I think the one non-profit was Deltari. That was the research center in Delft, and we were working with the PhDs studying the water, the dam, Delta project.
Oh yeah,
that was very fun, very different. And there was Aldax. Aldax was also a Dutch magazine company.
Yep.
And then we have a tea connectivity for sure, where I came from. So mostly for profit and one non-profit. I remember. Yeah.
But indeed, also a very mix of different kind of style of companies regarding product, service, background, size.
Yes.
Okay.
Manufacturing, publishing. Yeah, it's very diverse. Yeah.
And for you, Saba, what kind of companies can you remember that sparked your mind?
Yes, for sure. It was for the last year, so I will remember it very well. So it was like mostly it was profit companies like IKEA and a banking company, Van Loans for Campus, which is a B2B banking company, and Essen, an energy so also regarding data challenge, because also I had multiple more like Bridgestone, Essen, and at the end Omron company.
And Omron, what kind of company is that roughly?
So Omron is in terms of profit or non-profit?
No, what type of business do they do?
Yeah.
Because I know the name of Omron a lot, but also it sounds a bit not familiar, but I think it's also very big.
Yeah, it's for more automation of the processes and making the processes more automatic. And so we had multiple of the projects there, like for also data challenge, but also for our training project, like for example, hand gesture recognition was one of them that they want to have in lines of the they want to have this gesture recognition system.
Okay, so really that diverse range of companies, and that's similar for all projects. I think that the main focus are commercial parties, but we also work with governmental organizations, food or water or energy, but also national police are companies in which we have project with or work together. So there's no specific type of company that we only work with. I think this is also an interesting question we can talk about with each other. It's a question more focused on mentorship and networking. And the specific question is, what kind of opportunities does JADS offer you to get like networking opportunities, but also to get guidance in your professional and personal growth? Francesco, you mentioned, of course, one of the coaches. But how do you foster like a community kind of sense? That's something we tell outside. We say, hey, we're the data science and artificial intelligence community at JADS. But is it really, does it feel for you like a community, and how does JADS foster that? Who would like to go first on this?
Yeah, I can go first. I think I really had a strong community feeling in these first months. I mean, mostly we are people from different generations. They are all basically working on the same floor, so we meet each other very often. We talk, and everyone is very open to give suggestions. So as soon as I started here, I remember there were like different people from previous years that came to talk to us and to just introduce themselves or just give us some tips. And they're always very also open to receive questions if you have doubts about what a specific road to take, let's say.
And when you talk about generations, that indeed are previous groups of engineering doctor trainees.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's more, let's say, their internal community. Are there external community experiences? Can you remember what kind of things did JADS do to also introduce you to other people besides your fellow trainees?
Yeah, I definitely, when I joined, I received help from the previous trainees. That's for sure. I want to emphasize that. The internal community is already like very strong, very helpful. Everybody is so approachable, and you feel connected because you share the same experience. And the external side, I think in general, in Dutch culture is, I feel there is everybody is open, and it's if you graduated from JADS University, and there is no like the Ivy League feeling of the like the US or UK way of you have to graduate in a prestige university, and then you have a secret connection and gets you to
secret handshake.
Yeah, something that behind the company, and then you get to the in Dutch culture is mostly it's quite open. They value you as a person and less value you the background. Like when they interview you, they feel like, oh, who is being like is it fitting into the company? Like less about where did he graduated, and so in that sense, I feel also the connection in the sense is it's easier to approach to outside of JADS at all. Like it's not so hierarchical.
Yeah, and not so strict. When you close the door, you are not allowed to enter or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. When I take the case studies with Audax, with Philips, and the manager there are so nice, and they're not so they will help you if you ask. You have made a lot of connections with the company while you're working.
During your studies.
Yeah, and that links to some of them they just get a return offer after they finish the project, and then why don't you join us?
Yeah.
And so it's quite easy in the Netherlands in general.
Cool. Yeah. And next to the JADS itself, like we mentioned earlier, of course, we've got Engineering Doctorate, but we also got Master and Bachelor education, we got the professional education, we got the research staff, and all that kind of parts at JADS also organize events or summits and stuff like that. In that way, to also connect the community to each other. Is it something, Saba, you used also at JADS, just tapping into the different events or the different kind of approaches like Playground or SME Data Lab?
So first of all, I think one of the uniqueness of JADS is that it's a joint, it's joint nature.
Yeah.
That is coming from Tilburg and TUE. So you have like full access to TUE Eindhoven University and to two universities. Whenever there is an event there, you can participate very easily, and also you can get an advantage of, for example, I'm working with the databases of Tilburg during my visiting at JADS and also now. So this is really the uniqueness of JADS, which is very nice to have. And besides that, as you mentioned, also there are lots of industrial events that JADS is holding, like for example, regarding finding the suitable jobs, or also ladies of data, and some events that you can have, you can expand your networks. Besides that, you have also lots of training projects. At DCWs, you are working with multiple companies, but also these ones you can have more, expand your networks. And
of course, something we really have to do this step yourself, not that somebody just guide you everything, take your hands. You also have to be proactive, I guess, to use that kind of offers within the community. But there is offer enough to pick out different events to grow and develop for yourself.
Yeah, and specifically the community here is really supportive, as my colleague also mentioned, my friend. So they are really supportive in this sense that after 2 years, so I didn't have that much a strong background in data science, but after two years of experience of in multiple companies, I have that self-confidence. I've also created my own company, and JADS incubators, also a playground, really helped me to get the idea into reality, make the idea into reality.
Okay.
Yeah, I really appreciate and grateful for that.
Cool. That's quite a coincidence, because one of the questions also focused on the JADS playground, the incubator. Is it something that is part of the 2-year program? Do you get connected to the playground, or did you find it out by yourself? Is it like a compulsory course?
No, we don't have that compulsory course, but I think I've heard actually from one of my friends, two of my friends in our previous generation, so they had their own startup. So since the people here are very approachable, so also consult with them that how was the procedure, and they're so that in JADS, every people they are very close to each other, and we can interact with each other very easily. So I think in 1 or 2 days I found the connection. Also like with you.
Sure. It's good to hear that. Thank you so much to share your experience about the networking and community experience, but also how you can get connected and use the options you get, of course. Let's skip to the next question. It's a very practical question, I guess. And the question is, what are the concrete examples of problems that you work on or have worked on and that you had to solve? Let's start with you, Bing. Can you remember what specific examples of problems you had to tackle during your training time at JADS and the Engineering Doctorate program?
Yeah, it's 2 companies are doing different forecasts. One is preventive maintenance in Philips to make sure that the medical pipeline needs to be uptime needs to be long. They don't need to have too much downtime. We need to predict on that, and then we need to make sure which one to maintain before it went down. And the other forecast was with ODAC to forecast, okay, what is the sales in different stores? I think there are thousands of stores in different train stations. They sell the magazine, and because if they sell out, then it's missed opportunity. So we need to forecast which one is how much quantity over there. Both of them are including time series predictions and sometimes more modeling work on the. I think these are really real time, and it's real life examples that companies use mostly.
Also give some idea about not only the question, but also what kind of techniques you use and need to learn to solve these questions, of course. And you mentioned, Francesco, you already are running one project.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on what the specific question or problem is there, and how you think are going to solve this?
Yeah. So I will try to make it sort of easy, also for people that don't like football or don't follow football. But Stellenbosch wants to use data about the positions of the players in one match to understand how they can occupy space better, so how they can position their players better, which is a very challenging and very nice problem that they posed. And we are trying to help them by assessing the quality with which they occupy spaces. It's more of a it is kind of data-driven, but it's more of a elaborative way of analyzing data. So you crunch the data from the games and you try to see to measure the quality of what they are doing. So that would be the first step. of the project, and then there might be other steps depending on time and constraints, because you also have to deal with time constraints.
Yeah. And I believe this project is a follow-up from the Data Challenge Week.
Yes, exactly.
We had earlier.
Yes.
Selecting the people from the 18th generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for you, Saba, what kind of problem can you remember that needs solving?
Yeah, for sure. So, for example, I can start with the VLK, the banking company that we work on.
Alumnus
campaign, yeah. Where so there is frequent approaches to this customer due diligence concept, which is for basically monitoring the customer in terms of their payments, but also in terms of the transaction. So they want to identify the most riskier one. And there we developed a methodology to clustering the customers and help them to not doing lots of manual work, but just focus on some riskier parts. That was one of the examples.
And I can imagine the due diligence is something from European Bank, ECB, several rules to control clients and transactions, I guess.
Yeah.
And the question here, we can solve it by also reducing the manual time you need to check specific customers and banking accounts.
So they told me that, for example, I don't know, it takes like even some months for them to, just because it's thousands of customers, and it was really time consuming for them to monitor and review all the profiles and see, okay, which one is maybe makes trouble in the future. So that's really saved their time.
Nice. Thank you for sharing those diverse examples of problems. And I hope for you, Willem, it gives you some insight about the different kind of problems we get and some idea about the techniques used to solve these. And let's see what the other question is. Like you mentioned earlier, Francesco, you mentioned that you followed LinkedIn and then checked the website to search more about JADS, but also the Engineering Doctorate program. We also have the brochure that's useful to give some rough overview about the program and what you're going to do. And in that brochure, we also mentioned that a lot of alumni became data scientists at companies. But what does this actually involve? Is it data mining? Is it analyzing? Is it predicting or managing, or all of them? And I think that's a question perfectly for you, Bing. You're currently working as a data scientist, senior data scientist at Meta. What does it for you entail in your practical job? Does it something specific in techniques, transforce? No. Tell us, what do you do? Is it mining, analyzing, predicting, or is the whole?
They're very different defined in the different company.
Okay.
In Meta, it's more product analyst. It's to understand. It's more scientist side of the data science. There in Amazon, I know it's more engineering focus. So it's ML engineer. It's more engineering side of data science, and in other company probably more in the business side. So in Meta, it is more on the scientist side in a way that the engineer side make things happen, and scientist side needs to find opportunities. And you may have like 5 ideas, maybe 5 is too much. You have 2 ideas, and one is good, one is bad. And you give it to different engineers, and they implement that. And sometimes one succeeds, one fails. And then you iterate on that good idea, and then you think 2 more good ideas, and then the engineers will make that happen. And continuously, you make the team grow, also the game grow. So it's more scientist in finding things, and then engineer make that happen. And so understand where the opportunities are from the data, of course.
Yeah, of course.
To understand that's Meta.
And can we agree upon the fact that the term data scientist can differ per company?
Yeah.
What kind of skills you use, what kind of focus there is been, because you mentioned that other companies are more focused on the engineering part.
Yeah.
You're also nodding, Francesco, do you have the same experience already?
I mean, I feel
Or
like
heard from?
yeah, I feel like it really depends on the maturity of the company in terms of data maturity. So at what stage they are. Many companies want to use data, but maybe they don't even have a data lake or things like that. So there are many steps to implement, and usually if you're a data scientist, you are also seen as the person that knows what to do in general. So I would say that, I mean, also from the training project point of view, now we are doing more probably on like the engineering side rather than the scientific side of data science. But I've done only one project, so I have limited experience in that.
Nevertheless, thank you for elaborating on this. And hopefully, Willem, this gives you some insights about, okay, when you graduate, but also working already with companies yet, what is a data scientist? What kind of skills do you use or don't you use there? Interesting feedback from you and your experience. Thank you so much. There was also another question from Willem, more oriented. I'm not sure if you know, but he asked, are there also alumni that end up as a researcher? Do you know alumni being that also went deeper into research, maybe go to PhD or further on?
Yeah, definitely. I know one that they actually left in the middle of the program. That's very good actually, because you don't need to. Okay, when during the study they feel more connected to research, and they applied a research position in the Amsterdam University more on AI side, deep learning side. So I know one of that happened.
So that's just one, and I'm just trying to look over the screen to Femke, our colleague. If we look back at the generations we had in the past, I think a lot of participants find a job in data science in the Netherlands with a company, but do we know if there are also alumni working as a researcher? Next to the example of Bing, that's NS1. Not specifically going there. So I think that the summary of this would be that yes, it's possible, but over the end we see that a lot of people will go to a commercial company, a small or big or international. But nevertheless, of course, within the program you get some kind of research skills taught in the system. You get connected to Eindhoven and Tilburg University. So the connection to that research field is very strong. And I think it's easy to also make that step to choose in the end for you. But now I'm just wrapping up and just summarizing things. I'm not sure if it's totally the truth. But if you're so close, then the step is easy to go to commercial or research, depending on where you see your future.
Exactly. I think also it really depends on your interest. So, for example, now I'm working as a second year on a research consortium project.
Okay.
And it's totally a research proposal. So within different universities, Wageningen universities and JADS and other universities as well as companies. For example, even my supervisor also told me that we can also publish a paper on that. So I mean, it's possible. For example, there are also some other opportunities to join in like researcher companies like TNO.
Okay.
If you want.
Yeah.
So then I think it's possible. It's nothing.
It's not a closed book. You can open it when you want.
No, I interviewed with TNO, but they rejected me. But they gave me the interview opportunity there.
And if you look back,
yeah, I didn't want to do research.
Okay. Thank you for being so honest.
I would just add that one of the first things that we were told when we started last month was that we can define our path inside this program. So you can, every one of us has to make a sort of plan, and you can address the plan towards more like industry or towards research, as long as you make it clear. So yeah, what JADS teaches you is mostly from the data science point of view, the design mentality of a data scientist.
Yeah. And that wraps up in that way the program itself. it's you that decides, okay, what kind of learning path will I take?
Yeah.
You cannot just easily sit back and just watch and see what happens.
No, exactly.
You really need to decide, okay, what do I want to learn with the skills I'm getting offered, the courses you're getting offered. It's good to know that you get the distinction between maybe more industry or research focused, and that you get some sense of designing structure taught here at JADS.
Yeah.
Another interesting question for you all guys here on the couch. The question is more related to the work-life balance. Of course, there's a lot of demands on you as a trainee. There are a lot of demands from companies JADS is working with. What kind of support systems have you experienced in which you as a trainee have been helped to maintain a healthy work-life balance? Can you maybe relate to that and reflect, Saba, on this?
Yes, for sure. So I think the balance, work-life balance, also was one of my main concern, honestly.
Really?
Yes, because maybe for me, I didn't have that much background that people had, and at first I really have a bit more stress that if I can be equivalent to others, or I mean, in terms of the technical side, but the experience really that I had helps me, and also the mentorship and also the coaches that we have. So they always told me that you can see your strengths, and it also shows my I think I brought a different perspective, because I come from the business side, and this is the beauty of program. So we will have a diverse background, and each one of us will bring something to the table, and we can solve the problem in a very impactful manner. But regarding the work-life balance, yeah, I remember that at that time also I had this discussion with my coach at the first year, and it was because it was one of my main concerns. We had modules, we had DCWs, we have training projects. Specifically for first year, it was too much for me, actually. But you have also lots of workshops like time management workshops, and the workshops of stress and controlling your stress, which really helped me. And it was really helpful for me.
Cool. Is it something you also recognize, Bing, that there are systems in place that teach you how to manage your work, but also to support you when you're maybe run aground?
Yeah. When we do projects, we keep hearing from other people as well. Prioritize your own learning instead of trying to deliver. This is a safe environment. This is a case study for the company that is prioritized for us to learn throughout the case. And second priority is to deliver results. So that we hear, and that makes it easier that, okay, as long as I'm getting something out of this, that's good enough. That helps.
Nice. Thank you, Silvio, for asking this question. And I hope the answers you got here from Saba and Bing gives you some insights about how we really tackle this question and this issue to make sure that you got a healthy work-life balance. I see somebody sticking on the clock, and that's indeed, we got 5 minutes left. Let's go to the last set of questions. And again, if you have specific questions regarding the process or the application, please leave them behind in the chat. We'll get back to you within the frequently asked questions set. And one of my colleagues is also appointing me saying, hey, we've got an interesting question. Is that true?
Yeah, I have one question for the people on the couch. So I would like to ask, what has been the most useful skill that you acquired in the JADS program to succeed in the industry partner project?
Okay. So to wrap it up and to summarize, what was the most important skill you gathered in a project or the time at your engineering doctorate project at JADS?
For me, it was like teamwork skills, which mostly previously I was working like an independent role, like consulting, marketing consultant. So I was on my own responsibilities, but here it was my first experience working as in a teamwork manner, and I really think it was really helpful, the thing that we had regarding data challenge with and also training project.
Okay. And for you, Francesco? For
Well,
now already,
Yeah,
here for a
it's,
couple of months, the
yeah.
biggest.
I think, well, already during Data Challenge Week, I mean, even before knowing if I got in or not, I learned like really the importance of like analyzing, taking every step, and taking time for every step. So from the brainstorming, from understanding the problem, from the data understanding, and so on. So because usually I was more focused, as I said, on the implementation. While since I started the program, I would say that a workshop that really helped me was more like a leadership one, because it was also focused on personal leadership, which means trying to trying to be the leader of yourself, so not let emotions become too big, let's say, in the work environment, and also manage your self-confidence and things like this. And we got very nice tips.
Similar to what Bing mentioned earlier, saying, okay, focus on your personal learning goal instead of focusing on producing a project or a result.
Yeah.
And that gives you some skills about really empowering yourself also.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Maybe we got time for another question, and that's very practical. You already mentioned it earlier in your introduction, Bing. Somebody is asking, okay, what kind of applications and software can I best familiarize myself with as preparation for the Engineering Doctorate program? Is it Python, SQL, Power BI, and/or Excel? What do you all think? What kind of software or applications do you really need to know before starting here, or doesn't it even matter? Let's go from this to that.
Yeah, I would say that for sure Python, if you want to choose one of them. So Python is the most the best one to start with, because there you can also connect with the other softwares, Power BI, SQL, and with Python you can work with any other softwares also.
Same for you, Bing?
Yeah, Python is mostly widely used. Yeah, a SQL in the industry, but SQL is less easy to like practice in the individual. But I not only myself. When I joined, there was other people only know Excel. So it's not only
you started with your Excel skills.
So you can come in with your Excel and then you do. don't laugh. Why are you No, we see. Actually, I'm so proud. Now I use Excel as well. Yeah. So I really fascinated. I need to learn Python, and then I learned Python, and then in the end I said, okay, most of my work probably can be done in Excel still. So I feel like this is a nice curve. So yeah, you don't need to have it will be very helpful because Python is mostly used in collaboration, but for data scientists, you can use Excel.
Okay, nice. And Francesco, did you have some preparation regarding your application? Did you learn specific applications or a software before applying to the program?
No, not. I mean, I think it can be good to know some Python for the Data Challenge Week or for the program itself. But before, like after applying and after I got in the Data Challenge Week, I didn't specifically started learning a specific software. I think you can go in with your own knowledge and you can find your space.
Okay, well, thank you so much for this time. The time has flown by. It's already 3:30. Again, if you have specific questions regarding the Engineering Doctorate program or the application or let's say the qualification you need to be part of this program, please let your question behind in the chat or send us an email. You'll see the message or the email address online. It's dpdatascience@tue.nl, or leave your question in the chat. We'll make sure that your question will be answered. And later on, that will probably be next week, we'll send out to everybody participating in this online information session, of course, the video wrapping up this session, but also a document in which all your questions have been stated, including the answers, of course. For this part, I would like to thank everybody here on the couch. Thank you for investing your time. Thank you for coming here and taking some time off from your job, taking some time off from your traineeship, and sharing your experiences with all the people all over the world. And to you, everybody, I say thank you and have a lovely evening. See you next time.
See you.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.